Hello again, wrestling fans, and welcome to a very special edition of the Scumbags Wrestling Podcast. This one is a separate show unto itself. It is our Ontario Indie Wrestling March Madness show. Last year, you might have seen me do a live draw with everybody getting drawn and put into their brackets. And we're going to do it again this year, but we're doing it a little bit different this year because of your input on our Facebook page. We're up to 64. And this is our third annual March Madness. We're going to find out if anybody can dethrone Tyson Dux from the Ontario scene. But this year we also have Stephen O'Neill joining us for this draw. So Stephen, you're in Toronto. How are you tonight?
Good. It's quite nice here. It's odd, but I'm excited. I can't believe this tournament. We were joking, I think, a week or two ago. I was like, oh, we'll get to 64. You're like, I don't know if we will. I don't know how we'll do that. And, well, we're at 64, so...
Yeah, we actually could have done a lot more, but I needed to cut it off at 64. Last year we had 32, and I know some people had wondered why only 32 and blah, blah, blah. But 32 actually fits in perfectly for voting from March 1st to March 31st, with able to announce a winner on April 1st. But with 64, we're going to have to do 2 votes per day just to make sure we try and fit it into our bracket of the whole month of March, which is planned for. And then April 1st, which happens to be a Thursday, we can announce the winner on the Scumbags Wrestling Podcast. Hopefully we'll be in touch with the final 4 and be able to arrange for them to be on standby and maybe get the winner to be a part of it. I know it's all about logistics and timing and stuff like that. I have to do pre-records and hope that they actually won and insert the actual winner's speech or whatever. But we'll figure it out along the way. We have a month to get this put together. But the reason why we're doing this episode is the fact that we're going to draw the 64 names and put them into the bracket. So, yeah, I guess that's the main thing. And I know with myself, I'm going to be putting up half the votes, and I'm going to be putting them up at 7 o'clock every morning. So you have 24 hours to vote on the Facebook page. We'll be sharing it to other pages as well. I think Steven's going to take 32 of them, or the first 32.
The other half.
Vote, the other half. And he's going to put those up. What time were you thinking?
Noon?
Yeah, so that could be an afternoon.
Couple minutes
vote,
either way.
As Steven's saying. So once again, it'll be 24 hours to vote. We'll announce who won and what the next vote is on each post. And every Thursday on the Scumbags Wrestling Podcast, we'll also take a section at the end of the show just to review where the standings are. We're not going to do a whole hardcore run of it, but we're going to keep people up to date, and who knows what might happen along the way. Maybe some comments for the next rounds from people. We never know what's going to happen. We're winging it. So we're hoping to outreach to the talent that are involved and get them to be interactive. So thank you.
You know what's going to happen next year?
What's that?
We're gonna have to add UK wrestlers in, since we're on the Joneser podcast. They're going to be jealous that we're not putting them in this. We're going to may have to go international.
As it was announced this past week on Scumbags Wrestling, we are part of the Johners podcasting network. We're also part of the Ontario Indie Wrestling Network that we've been doing for the last year or so. So yeah, your thought of an international could be interesting as well. We just do 32 and 32 and see who collides.
Oh Lord, we're gonna get ourselves into it, aren't we?
We got plenty of time. We could even do a whole month just for UK. Who knows? But let's get the drawing underway with the first round.
Let's get our magic wheel out.
The wheel is here. 64 names are there. I'm going to be off the screen. I'm not going to be still visible to everybody, but I'm going over to the wheel screen to do our first spin.
You've got pen and paper, right, to write this out?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we're going to call this the North bracket. I think North, South, East, and West. Keep ourselves sane.
Our first person is Violet Lee. There we go. Violet Lee, as we know as from here in London. So, she's a member of the Tyson Dux Wrestle Factory. And, been with Muscle. A lot of good things with Violet Lee going up. And she is draw number 1. So there is.
See who she's taking on.
We'll find out in just a second. And Chuck Bell. I got to know Chuck a slight bit on Facebook when he was doing the Scott Hunter promo tournament that he did, and he was really into it with Becky Nix, and they came down to the finals. So Violet and Chuck is the first round matchup. Let's go with
sitting and waiting. Sitting and waiting seems to be the only thing that Dark Horse Dexter Grimm can do these days. But now, Scumbags of Wrestling came knocking on my door asking me to be part of their promo competition. Well, I'm gonna gladly oblige, and it seems like I've drawn Violent Lee in the first round. Well, I did a little research on you, Violent Lee. Seems like you're not wrestling anymore. And you know what? That's probably for the best. Because you, just like everyone else, will get trampled by the Dark Horse. So you know what? You might as well not even submit a video, because there's no point. I'm just going to keep on strolling into the next round.
There's another pick.
So this is match 2 in the North bracket. Alec Realm, another of Tyson's students.
Yes. There's a lot of Tyson students in here. We have Smash, Barry, Hamilton, Alpha One, a lot of different representations of organizations. I think some Crossbody is in there. As I said, these were voted by people who wrote into our Facebook page and said, hey, this person deserves to be in.
Scumbag Yates.
Okay, so there we go.
What's going on, guys? Alec Realm here, coming at you from my squeaky ass office chair here in my just state of a new apartment. There's literally just stuff everywhere, clothes, an abundance of Ethernet cable, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I was chosen to be part of the 64 Wrestler Ontario March Madness tournament. It's an online fan-voted tournament run by the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast, so if you don't already follow the podcast, go follow the podcast. It's just it's cool to be involved in any sort of wrestling anything, given the way the last year or so has gone for me, and I'm sure a lot of other independent guys can relate to that right now. So yeah, if there's anybody you see on the list that, like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be me, because, you know, I kind of suck, but if there's anybody on the list that, like, you know, maybe they just impressed you at a show one time, or you just really like their content on socials, or maybe they're just like a really cool lad or lass, you know, just give them a vote, and yeah, just stay involved, guys. Take it easy.
Hey there, Ontario wrestling fans. It's that glorious time of the year when Scumbags of Wrestling Podcast presents March Madness Tournament. 3rd annual this year. And just like every other tournament, there's a lot of great talent that's on this tournament, including Scumbag Yates. What a coinkily dink. And my first round I have is against Alec Realm. Now, if you guys don't know who Alec Realm is, he's a young kid, lots of talent, lots of potential, a lot of years in front of him. But you know what he doesn't have? he doesn't have a Pro Wrestling Ontario Trios Championship. He does not have a comic book that's named after him. He does not have a Plinko winning scratch ticket. I want a chip on this one, so it's probably going to be like 10 or 20 bucks here. I don't know why I threw that. I need to cash that in. He also does not have a sweet captain's hat that you can take a big dinghy down the Grand River so you can drink beer and listen to Freebird. And most of all, and this will be the big selling point of this one, has he ever wrestled as a giant penis and Teletubby in the same year? This guy did. So when the poll comes up, make sure to click on Scumbag Yates. Have a good day.
Our next matchup is Holden Albright.
Oh, Mr. Holden.
We had him recently on our podcast in December, just before Christmas, promoting what was it? I want to say No Ring North, but that's Vaughn Vertigo's.
Go Hard Pro.
Yeah. And our next matchup is who is going to go against Holden Albright. Ooh, this would be a good matchup in actual ring.
Ethan Dukes. That'd be a match. The ring would have to be reinforced.
The two hosses going at it. Our fourth matchup. Just a reminder, there is going to be 32 matchups happening, being drawn during this.
The endorsement, Sebastian Suave.
He was just recently a subject of your
slugging. Yeah. This is match 4 of the North, right? Bracket?
Yes.
Joey Allen. First time I saw Joey Allen wrestle was in KW for PWA, and he is, I think he was fairly new to the business at that time, so I'm excited to see how far he can get in this.
I saw him at a Smash show in Kitchener when there was some PWA guys that invaded Smash for a match.
Woo! I'm excited because March Madness is looming around the corner, and the Scumbags of Wrestling have this big and exciting tournament that I'm looking to win it all. And who do I have up in the first round? None other than Joey Allen. Joey Allen, let's talk about you, brother. First and foremost, you have a hilarious social media account. No, really, guys. Have you checked it? The guy is funny. He is hilarious, truly underappreciated for his humor. And if I were to put that aside, he's also got an incredible physique, let's be honest. The shoulder to lat ratio is on point. I'm envious in a healthy way. You put that aside, he's also an incredible family man. He's a great dad, loves his family. I respect that. And to add to that, one of the nicest and most humble people I know. So, I don't really have anything bad to say about Joey Allen. So truthfully, I think everyone should vote for Joey Allen and show him some love because he deserves it. And with that said, I hope everyone is staying safe during the pandemic. And also, let's show some love to the Scumbags of Wrestling for keeping wrestling busy and in our faces during these times. So, much love to you guys as well.
Match. Our fifth matchup is
Warhead. Again, first time I saw him would have been early 2000s in PWA. With all these guys, so it'd be interesting.
He's been doing No Ring North recently.
Yes.
So you can catch No Ring North with Warhead.
taking on Pretty Ricky.
I saw Pretty Ricky at a charity event here in London that Justin Gimley put on, and he's also one of those talents from Crossbody.
Oh, young Chadhead wants to try and rattle around with young Ricky Roo, and he takes his plans by bleeding on the scene, but you're looking at the most hardcore guy still going in Ontario, because young Warhead, you may leave your blood and guts on the canvas, but I wear my heart on the sleeve, and I keep myself alive in the dreams on every screen of every fan, person, and audience in the scene, watching me do what I do. So as the moments get closer and we get farther inside of this March Madness for the scumbags of wrestling, you must question yourself, Warhead. Do you actually want to compete with me? Do you actually want to go toe-to-toe on this kind of thing? Or do you maybe just want to hire me? Do you maybe just want to have me host the next segment of your show? You think very carefully if you want to try to continue down this path. Or instead, you want to slip me a paycheck, put me on the payroll, and make me a part of the next thing that you're doing as well.
Matchup number 6.
Kevin Blackwood.
Saw one of his
Went
first
from
matches. You were going to say?
Well, we've seen him in Smash and Destiny, so be interesting to see who he takes on, because that person's going to be in for a tough matchup against Kevin Blackwood.
Yeah, one of my first times seeing him was at Comic-Con here in London when Smash was there, and him and Daniel Garcia were green as grass, but he knew they had a future ahead of them. He will take on
Shilo?
Shilo.
That's, I believe, our first female wrestler to come out of the draw. And she drew...
No, Violet Lee was...
Oh, yeah, Violet Lee, sorry. She drew Kevin Blackwood. I mean, I think we saw at one of Smash's shows probably one of her first matches, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. We saw her debut. I've been seeing her getting trained at the Tyson Dux Wrestle Factory as well. Someone who did not initially think about wrestling, was in music, and then discovered wrestling one night while watching at Bruce SummerSlam, and decided that's what she wanted to get into. Number 7.
Travis Moore. I believe he's out of Crossbody in Hamilton.
I think so as well. He also was recently part of Go Hard Pro. He was doing the main event with Scotty O'Shea and Matt Brown in the role of Kevin McAllister in the Home Alone match.
Yeah.
So Travis will take on...
Speedball Mike Bailey. Yeah, this a match I would love to see in person.
If this was actually happening, I kind of feel bad for Travis, even though the size are about the same. The feet work probably is way disproportionate. Match number...
Scumbags of Pro Wrestling Ontario Indy March Madness Tournament. I've seen some big names in there, and right now I have to talk about one of those big names. That name is Speedball Mike Bailey. I've watched a lot of your footage, man, and I know a thing or two about speedballs. I've seen you in PWG, I've seen you in WXW, I've seen you in C4, I've seen a lot of your footage. And the great thing about that is you haven't seen my footage yet. So You don't know what I'm going to do to beat you. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to beat you. So, Mike Bailey, when I see you in that ring, I'm going to headbutt you. Damn it, I gave it away. I'm going to do a move to you. And then I'm going to pin you. Or submit you. Whatever. Knock you out. That I'm not so confident in. But the point stands. I'm going to beat you. Hello? What do you mean that's promo contest? Come on, this is some shit.
Number 8 in the bracket. And this will be the last one of the North.
John Breed. I've seen him obviously at Smash, but he's been at, I think he's wrestled at a Barry. Was he on Go Hard Pro?
I'm
drawing a blank right now.
I think he was. And first time I saw him, he was teaming with Sebastian Suave as part of the Overdogs.
To round out the North bracket.
Ooh.
2 Hosses again.
Yeah.
Stone Rockwell.
You're going to say?
He wrestles Crossbody? I'm drawing blank.
He's also done Destiny. He did Impact. I met him at a Destiny show in Sarnia that Aaron Sisson put on. Have actually a picture of him with Shotzi Blackheart trying to peek in and photobomb us. He was also, as I said, Asylum. He's gone by. Plus, he was on Amazing Race Canada. So, Stone Rockwell against John Breed.
So we've rounded out our North bracket now. Now we're moving to the South bracket. Let's see who starts the South.
Prepare the picture there. And seed number 1 in the South goes to
Tyler Hill.
Not sure if I've seen his work yet. We are definitely looking into some of the talent. I apologize for some of the ones that we don't know, but this is going to be a great education for us as well, being Ontario wrestling fans. Just we don't get to everywhere and everybody. Tyler Hill.
As much as we wish to.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Tyler Hill will take on Tyler Aero. Battle
Who?
Tyler.
He's out of Crossbody. You'll see him coming up. You'll see him coming up soon on Sluggin. Got a lot of these guys and gals that you'll see in this draw. You've either seen already or you'll see coming up over the next little while for Sluggin. So,
spoiler alerts.
Hey guys, this is your longest reigning Pro Wrestling Ontario Openweight Champion and your longest reigning NWX Northern Lights Champion. This is the Canadian Bad Boy. This is Tyler Hill asking you to vote for me in the upcoming Ontario Indy Wrestling March Madness Tournament. You see, the past couple years, Tyson Dux has been the winner of this. He is undefeated. And I am willing to take that top spot. And I know there's other guys willing to take that top spot. But first round is me versus Tyler Aero. And every single time me and Tyler Aero get one-on-one in a ring, I beat him. I lay his ass out every single time. It would be a foolish decision to vote for Tyler Aero. Vote for me. Move me up. Let's take this thing by storm. And your Canadian Bad Boy can win this whole thing. Only on the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyler Aero. Coming up is the Scumbags of Wrestling Ontario Indie Wrestling March Madness Tournament that is driven by you, the fans. But this year they have upped the ante from 32 people to 64. 64 other competitors, 64 other wrestlers, 64 other people. You know what? It's just a number. Vote for me and make me a first-time winner.
Match number 2.
The walking weapon, Josh Alexander.
He just recently won #1 contendership for the X Division title in Impact Wrestling, but we still see him on the independent scene in Ontario.
Who's he drawing?
Oh
God!
Wow! Not only an amazing matchup that this would be in reality, but also the 2-time winner. Will Alexander be able to take Tyson out and basically be an upset in the first round?
Would you say these were probably 2 of the high favorites? I had them 2 high favorites.
I'd say so. And for them to be in the same matchup, in the same bracket,
someone's going down early.
It almost opens the field for everybody else.
Hey, everybody. It has been brought to my attention that it is almost time for the 3rd annual Ontario Indie Wrestling March Madness event put on by the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast. It was also brought to my attention that the previous 2 March Madness tournaments have been won outright by Tyson Dux. And then it has also been brought to my attention that through a draw somehow in the first round, you're going to get what potentially would be a finals matchup in any other tournament, pitting former 2-time champion Tyson Dux against myself, the walking weapon Josh Alexander. And I don't know how Tyson won the 2 other ones because I've been wrestling for 16 years, but I don't think he's going to win this one.
Let's check out.
Yeah, this will be.
Who's in the next matchup? Alessandro Del Bruno,
who we saw go hard pro against Shane Saber.
Very
was
impressive
it Shane
match.
Saber?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd not seen him before that, and I was super impressed. So I'm waiting for this COVID to end so we can see a little bit more of some of these guys.
Oh, for sure. Del Bruno definitely impressed me. He's been on the scene for a long while, but just never in my area. Oh.
And he drew Daniel Garcia. Wow. I wish this match in reality would take place because it would be a hell of a match. This is another interesting match. Mr. Daniel Garcia versus Alessandro Del Bruno. Next one. What are we?
Is
Brian White.
Councilman Brian White. He is also a member of the Tyson Dux Wrestle Factory. He also worked in Destiny in Sarnia. Of course, that's his home base due to him being a councilman there. So, yeah, we'll see what Brian White draws.
Match 4 or 5 for the South?
Finishing off match for number 4.
He's taking on Psycho Mike Rollins. Another match that 2 Haas guys that would be great to see in person.
Yeah, because Brian, actually, if you check out Tyson Dux' latest video, there's like a 22-minute catch video of him and Brian White going at it for the majority of that 22 minutes. And it's just really good what Tyson is able to bring out of his students.
Oh boy, this is a big one. Friends, the Honorable Counselor Brian White here, and the people of my community have raised a very important issue. A problem, if you will, and the name of that problem is Psycho Mike. Now, Psycho Mike, I know I've never dealt with a problem like you before. I've never faced anyone as big and as strong as you before. That's the reality. But here's what I also know. Mike, Mr. Psycho, may I call you Mike? We're all friends, we're all in this together, right? I know it makes people like you tick. And when I go in to solve the problem, I'm going to start by stripping you down physically, tearing you apart. And then after I beat you in the ring, I'm going to get inside that mind of yours. That mind that you don't even know what's going on. And I'm going to start tinkering and ripping you apart mentally, thought by thought. Mike, I've never faced a problem with you before. But you've never faced a solution like the Counselor Brian White.
Match number 5 in the South.
I'm actually positive Tyson could bring that out of a paper bag at this point.
It's too easy. Muscle.
Yeah, that the Muscle. Interesting. We all know him from, well, see him at Smash.
He was at
he's drawn.
He was at Midwestern Wrestling.
Midwestern, yeah.
Had the pleasure of driving him back to his house after one of the Smash events when I was up in Toronto. Taking on Gabriel Fuerza.
Wow. Another match.
Contrasting styles, but this would be a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, there's not been a match that wouldn't be a good matchup in person.
Yo, this is hot shit, Jay Wheeler. You know, I haven't been feeling so hot ever since I lost the BYP World Championship. And I've been searching high, I've been searching low, just for something to fill the void. I've even gone on Facebook. I see all these wrestling shows going on, and you know your boy RSVPs, but when I show up, there's no fans, there's no wrestlers, there's no win. What's going on? I just about lost all hope when Scumbags of Wrestling podcast came a-calling. They said to me, "Hey, Jay, would you like to be in our 3rd annual Ontario Indie Wrestlers March Madness tournament?" And I said to them, "Is Mark Wheeler in it?" And they said yes, so I said yes. And then they told me that in the first round, I'd be going up against someone who I've grown to appreciate and respect both as a human being and as a competitor. Somebody who wrestles like they've only had one day of training, just like moi. And that guy is the Muscle. Now, Muscle, in another life, I could see you, me, on the beach, having a coffee. You're sliding me an 8x10. I'm sliding you $5. But in this life, I gotta take you down, brother. Because I'm going straight to the top. Jay Wheeler, out. Oh, and please, don't forget to vote for me. Hashtag vote for Jay.
Matchup number 6.
And we still have names. We still have some big names out there. CC Moss from Pro Wrestling 360. She was a PWA Women's Champion, I believe.
Yeah, I think so as well. Now, not sure if they're just close friends or actually sisters, but I've heard that her and Biofobia are possibly sisters. I could be wrong.
I know.
And then just be
I know
best
that was
friends.
I thought that was storyline, but it could be true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just never know.
She'll be taking on
Vaughn Vertigo.
the other half of Flyer Flight.
Yeah. Someone else I've ranked in the top 5 out of the names that we had. I had started ranking some of them just to see, and
value.
I had Vaughn in the top 5.
The
3
weird
out of my
part
top
is-
5 have gone.
Weird part is looking at this bracket as it's being built. There's a potential if both Fuerza and Vertigo make it through, they're facing each other in the next round.
That's
Match number
who we
7.
got next? Frankie the Mobster. Unfortunately, I never saw him at Smash because he was no longer part with Smash when my first Smash show that I saw at the London Music Hall.
Yeah, I think he's still doing some Ontario stuff, but more closer to Quebec now. When
I've seen.
COVID
I
was
know
not
he was at C4 out of Ottawa, and he drew
Carter
Carter.
Mason.
This is.
I was. Go ahead.
I had Carter Mason actually number 6 in my. Ranked him 6th out of these names, so Frankie the Mobster's in tough here against Carter Mason.
And I was just noticing as the wheel was spinning that he almost got Rosemary. Imagine
Which
Rosemary
would?
against Frankie.
So I've been told there's this annual tournament in which a bunch of people like me partake. I wish I would tell you I'm honored to participate. I truly don't care for it. But I've been told that some people do. People like you watching this. And you need to vote. Do you honestly think I care if you vote for me or not? Just fucking vote. Do something with your goddamn lives. Make yourselves worthy. That's all you have to fucking do. Vote.
And finishing off the stove. Wade Buswell. And he will take on
Bella Bronx. I'm not familiar with either of them, but again, since COVID, it's not like we've had a lot of wrestling to go see.
No, Bella has been one of Tyson's students, and a lot of personal achievements she's overcome. Breast cancer, or cancer survivor. So you can always buy her pink cancer merchandise. But yeah, really nice girl. Totally. Love meeting up with her at the factory and talking to her. I've seen her family there. Her debut match at Smash, she had a whole section of Italian family all gathered there.
Where was?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3rd annual Ontario Indie Wrestling March Madness tournament put on by the great people of Scumbags. I'm the Wander Wade Allen, and I've drawn in the first round Bella Bronx. Bella, just like one of my favorite movies, The Bronx Tale, I'll be playing the role of Cologino. You'll be playing the role of Sonny. If you've watched this movie, at the end of the movie, Cologino lives. Sonny dies. Also, make sure you check out everybody that's involved in this. Thank you very much, and have a great day. I'm the Wanderweight Alan. Wander on.
This year, Bella Bronx, have the honor of taking part in the 3rd annual Ontario Indie Wrestling March Madness Tournament. And I'm going up against none other than Wade Buswell. And I have to say, I am so honored and thrilled to go up against him in this first round match. And I have the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast to thank for the opportunity. Wade, all I can say is may the better person win.
Oh, I haven't seen her yet.
She was part of a Battle Royal. I think they Christmas one.
Oh, Shane Saber. Man, I ranked
and this
7th.
This actually starts the next division.
The East Division.
Yeah. So Shane Saber starts that off. And he's part of Space Monkey tag team. And also he was a part of Scotty O'Shea's group in Smash.
And he was on Go Hard Pro.
Yes, against Del Bruno. And he gets Steve Brown.
Out of Hamilton Crossbody.
Yeah.
And we saw him on Go Hard Pro, so.
Yeah, with Scotty O'Shea.
Yep.
Let's
see who drew
the Bandit
Cross next. Casey Spinelli, who I've seen her in Smash. I believe she was on Impact.
Yeah, she was herself plus Undead Bride was made a few times, but she wasn't.
Yeah.
She'll be taking on appropriately enough
Rosemary.
We're pretty sure they've had quite the feuds over the years in the Ontario scene.
And this will be quite an interesting matchup.
Matchup number 3 in the East.
Allysin Kay. We all know former NWA Women's Heavyweight Champion. She won Impact Women's Gold. I'm really surprised she's not signed anywhere, but who knows?
Been all around Ontario, and I believe she's out of Michigan.
Who is she
from? For those not aware, we are including people in Michigan like Allysin Kay and also the Buffalo brothers because they work here in Ontario. Lionel Knight. I think the first time I saw him was one of my last live matches in Bordertown in Fort Erie.
Yeah, because you did a weekend. You did Bordertown, and then I think you were here in Toronto seeing Smash, right? Back to back?
Pretty much. Wow.
Nova.
Full of women.
Yeah.
Nova. She is up in Sudbury, but has learned a lot at Tyson's factor as well. She's willing to make that travel back and forth between the two.
She wrestles a lot in North Bay.
Yeah, in Barrie. She's holding gold from North Bay. She'll take on Kyle Boone, the Wavemaker.
I remember, this is going back 2 years now, seeing Kyle Boone's first match. It was a dark match at Smash. It was him. I think it was a 6-man. And they had the crowd at the end of it on their feet. And we all could tell something special was about to happen with those 6. I want to say it was Boone, Stryder, Realm, Jason Jordan, Violet Lee. I feel like it was a 6-man.
Yeah, I believe that was right. So, yeah, as you said, Realm, Jordan James, Jim Stryder, Kyle Boone, Violet Lee, and it might have been, I want to say Chris Mitchell's, potentially.
Could have been. I just remember no one knew what to expect when they came out because it was announced they were students and they had everyone on their feet at the end of that match.
And he's improved so much. And if you know his backstory, just how physically different he is as well from when he was a kid to now and everything going on. It's a really good story with him. Our 5th matchup in the East.
Jay Loon, another one of Tyson's students. I have not seen him wrestle yet. Again, COVID kind of plays havoc on stuff.
Yeah, he had his debut match in a 6-man tag with, I believe, Rodney Matthews and Bella Bronx on one side, and that was at the last Fanshawe show that was able to be had last year at the time. Jay Loon takes on
Jordan James. We're having a little run on factory students now.
Yep.
Hey everyone, it's your favorite wrestler, the Great Canadian Loon, and I've been entered into the 3rd annual Ontario Indie Wrestling March Madness Tournament on the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast. Apparently I've been put against Jordan James, which is funny because I actually know Jordan James quite well. In fact, I know that Jordan James and I have some similarities when it comes down to it. Jordan James and I both trained at the Tyson Dux Wrestling School. Jordan James and I have both wrestled for Smash Wrestling. Jordan James and I actually both own this t-shirt. But you see, where Jordan James and I differ is that I'm on my way up right now, and I'm going to be in the 2nd round. He's not. Have a nice day.
Hello, people of the wrestling world. It is I, Jordan Fireball James, coming back to you after a long year absence. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fine. I have missed you just as you have missed me. And I am coming to talk to you about the Scumbags of Wrestling March Madness poll. And I am going up against Mr. Jay Loon. Now here's the thing. I did some research and I looked some things up and I found out that you should not feed the loon bread. That is apparently very bad for him and could possibly kill him, expand his stomach or something of the sorts. So when you see this man, please do not feed this man bread. That would be awful, terrible. God, beautiful man would die today, and I do not want to see that happen. So ladies and gentlemen, when you see him, make sure not to give him bread. And when you see this competition, make sure to vote for Jordan Fireball James, as I have missed you just as you have missed me. Thank you.
Okay, matchup number 6.
Sabrina Kyle. She wrestled out of PWA, and now it's Pro Wrestling 360. I believe Barry as well.
Yeah, and she was supposed to be a part of the 2nd Midwestern Wrestling show I know she did promos with Dylan Andrews prior to the shutdown, and they were only actually days away from being able to do their second show when things got shut down last March.
I think there's going to be quite a bit of wrestling when we're allowed to see it again. Taking on Ethan Page. Okay. This is another one who I had ranked in the top 5.
If I'm not mistaken, obviously one of the North with Josh Alexander now that's done with, but is he also not the owner of Alpha One?
I think so. I thought him and Josh Alexander owned it together, but it could be one of those own it. Kevin Bennett, the reigning Smash Heavyweight Champion.
The remix.
My final guy I had ranked in the top 5. Because I don't think Bennett gets as much love from fans as he should.
No, and I was there for his championship win and the grin that he had when he beat Tariq for it.
Guy who I had ranked 9th in the top. It's an interesting...
A great matchup always with those two. And let's see, our last matchup in the East.
Matt Cash.
I believe he's out of crossbody as well. He'll be taking on
Jim Stryder. He rounded out my top 10. Not because I don't think I don't know where he'll end up in the top. But I had him ranked 10 out of all those guys.
Yep. Okay, so that takes care of the East, and we'll go with the West. We have our
final bracket.
Final bracket.
You got names. This is some still big heavy hitters.
Oh yeah, we got Jody.
You got Cody Deaner, Jody Threat, Brent Banks, Alexia Nicole, Mark Wheeler. We drew Jody Threat to start with. And who is she going to take on? Idris Abraham. Half of the Smash World Tag Team Champions with Joe Coleman. He's been on Impact. He's been on WWE TV. I still haven't figured out how Halal Beefcake hasn't been signed. We seen him at Midwestern. Yeah.
Beefcake.
Joe Coleman. Are they in a matchup against each other?
No. Oh, well, they would if they both make it to the second round. Just like Fight or Flight.
Very interesting. Taking on Channing Decker out of Hamilton, I believe.
Crossbody? I think was... no, Greektown.
Oh.
He owns Greektown.
So I'll be able to see him here in Toronto then.
Yeah, he's based out of Toronto. I think he just came back from a stint in Japan.
We still got names in here. This is a deep field. Mark Wheeler.
He was just recently on Go Hard Pro and also Backyard Pro.
He was We've seen him on Smash. He drew the Night Train, just insane. Who I believe is out of Hamilton.
Yep.
But he's wrestled in
I saw
Barrie.
him. Also, Bordertown.
Yeah. We got Puff. Who we all know from Smash. He was on AEW.
Yeah, one of the Buffalo Brothers. Taking on, in a comedy sort of match,
Space Monkey. Part of Space Pirates. I think he's out of Hamilton.
Yep. Friends with Scotty O'Shea. If you go back and watch one of Scotty's birthday parties from a couple of years ago, he's part of a McNugget challenge, which got pretty messy.
Rodney Matthews, who I saw at Midwestern, and I think a Smash show. We went where it was the little town, Tilsonburg, I think.
Tilsonburg, yeah. Taking on the Hacker. He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Ontario legend.
Good morrow! It's me, Antihero SOS. I know most people still don't call me that. You know, rebranding your name when you've kept a name for like 12 years is hard, but we're going to stick to it. Antihero SOS, all right? Get used to it. And I'm part of some tournament, or it is tournament, okay. So I've been told. And I'm in the first round against Rodney Matthews, and I'm currently listening to his entrance music. You can see that. Yep, there he is. Rodney Matthews right there. And I'm not quite sure what this tournament's for, but I want to win it, you know? So I got to bullshit my way through it. And bullshitting's no problem because, put it this way, I worked the hacker gimmick for 12 years, and I have no idea how to use anything but Google and sometimes Facebook. I can find porn pretty easily. Give me that one. But for all you voters out there, let me just tell you this. A vote against Antihero SOS means you are a white supremacist that believes the earth is flat and that the Holocaust was a lie. So put your vote where it counts. Vote for the Antihero. Peace in the Middle East.
Michael Grayson, another one of Tyson's students.
Which is also a tag team partner of Rodney Matthews in Books and Looks. And depending on how things go, they could end up in the second round against each other. But we'll have to see who Grayson is against.
Alexia Nicole. Crossbody. She was on Go Hard Pro.
Backyard.
Yeah, she's another spot. Someone who, up until recently, I hadn't seen much of.
Hey, Michael Grayson here. I'm so excited for the March Madness tournament this year. Just want to say vote for me for in round one. Trust me, it's the smartest thing to do. Vote for me. Thanks, guys, and stay safe out there.
Can we just look at these four names really quick? Who's left?
Yeah.
Cody Deaner, Brent Banks, Beautiful Bee, and John Atlas. Good luck.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you draw.
These are our final four. And first out is Deaner. A little bit of a change in attitude with Deaner on Impact Wrestling, but he's still giving her hard and also doing Give Her for Charity throughout his philanthropy work here in Ontario. He'll be taking on
Beautiful B. Wrestled PWA, and I think she's part of the 365, and she might be doing. I'm not sure if she's been anywhere else, but this is. We know our final matchups: Brent Banks and John Atlas.
Yeah, just making the final thing.
Official.
I wonder who's going to win this one. Make sure all the names get brought out. There we go. So that is our draws for this.
Hey guys, John Atlas here. Now I just need you to log on to your Facebook and scroll the Scumbags of Wrestling Facebook page. And if you could vote for yours truly in the 3rd annual Ontario Indy March Madness Wrestling Tournament, greatly appreciated. I hope everyone's doing well, and hopefully we get to see you around ringside sometime soon.
We wish everybody luck. We're going to be in contact with a lot of the talent. Let them know who they're matched up against. See if we can get some promos cut. Maybe get them to reach out and encourage people to vote. Just going to run. Now look back at the brackets as they stand. And we have in the north, Violet Lee taking on Chuck Bell. Alec Realm against Scumbag Yates. Holden Albright against Ethan Dukes. Sebastian Suave against Joey Allen. Warhead against Pretty Ricky. Kevin Blackwood against Shilo. Travis Moore taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. John Greed against Stone Rockwell. Your thoughts on this, Stephen?
Going to be some tight matchups. I think all of them we're going to see pretty close matchups. And then it just even gets tougher in round 2. It just keeps getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah, well,
I know I'm going to fill out. Once you put these in our bracket and you send them over, I know I'm going to fill out a bracket. I think you should fill out a bracket and see who gets closest.
Yeah, and we could maybe do something also with our fans of the site and see about them doing a bracket and maybe offering up some sort of prize. We'll figure that out along the way. And it could just be for bragging rights as well. Over in the South Division, Tyler Hill taking on Tyler Aero. Josh Alexander taking on Tyson Dux in the big match up I can see happening. Alessandro Del Bruno taking on Daniel Garcia. Brian White against Psycho Mike Rollins. The Muscle taking on Gabriel Fuerza. CC Moss against Vaughn Vertigo. Frankie TM against Carter Mason. And Wade Boswell taking on Bella Bronx. Your thoughts on the South Division?
Yeah, like I just said, it's going to be one of those things that try to figure that out.
Yeah, and with the fact of being Alexander and Dukes in the first round, crazy. Taking a look over at the East Division, Shane Saber taking on Steve Brown. Casey Spinelli against Rosemary. Allysin Kay against Lionel Knight. Nova against Kyle Boone. Jay Loon against Jordan James. Sabrina Kyle against Ethan Page. Kevin Bennett taking on Tariq in an actual rematch of the Smash Wrestling Championship. And Matt Cash taking on Jim Stryder. And that's your East Division. Then over in the West Division, Jody Threat against Idris Abraham. Joe Coleman taking on Channing Decker. Mark Wheeler against Justin Sane. Puff takes on Space Monkey. Rodney Matthews against Scotty O'Shea. Michael Grayson taking on Alexia Nicole. Cody Deaner against Beautiful B. And Brent Banks taking on John Atlas. in the final matchup of the West Division. So those are your 64 nominated by the fans of the Scumbags Wrestling Facebook page and people throughout Ontario. So this will be a interesting tournament. Voting happening at 7 a.m. and noon. 2 times to vote. Get those in 24 hours to let it happen. And we'll be updating on the Scumbags Wrestling podcast every Thursday at 8 p.m. And the finals is going to happen on April 1st, announcing a winner at that time. Steven, anything you want to say about this tournament?
We went from 32 to 64, and I'm not 100% sure how we're going to get down to 1, other than the voting, but I don't know how you vote for some of those matchups because there's going to be some upsets. There's going to be some interesting I expect a lot of close matchups where we're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, and so as I said, I hope to have some of the participants take part in this and have some videos to share throughout the week and days of the month of March, and add some more excitement to what is going to be a really good month of fan interaction and honoring those that work the Ontario scene, even though there hasn't been much work to have right now. So be sure to look on our Facebook page each and every day throughout the month of March and join us on this adventure and have some fun. We'll see you on Thursday on Scumbags Wrestling.
If you want a variety of wrestling news and history, look no further than the Scumbags Wrestling family of shows. On Wednesday nights at 6 p.m., join Sean, Steven, and Jonesy as we look for the best of the best and break it all down in a unique tournament format on Fantasy Warfare Tournament. Then Thursdays at noon, take a look back at the rich history of our great sport with This Week in History. Relive title changes, births, deaths, and some of the best events of all time. Finally, join us for the latest in wrestling news, show results, and predictions Thursday nights at 8 p.m. for the Scumbags Wrestling Podcast. The Scumbags Wrestling can be found on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram, along with our audio versions on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or anywhere else you get your podcasts from. We're a proud part of the Ontario Indie Wrestling Podcast Network and the Johners Podcast Network.